keep watching because in this video, I'm going to show you the exact 90-day process we used. So by the end of this video, you'll have a clear picture of what needs to change and why. We'll cover how to diagnose what's actually holding your business back and how to build the marketing infrastructure that most agencies skip, and 3 routes to market that are almost certainly sitting unused in your business right now. Most businesses don't stall at £1 million because they're doing too little marketing. They stall because they've fallen into the trap of doing the wrong kind of marketing. It's one of the most common reasons new clients come to us. A well-run business doing everything they think they should be doing, the ads, the social media, the website that probably needs updating, it's all activity. But activity without strategy isn't marketing, it's just spending. If you're running a £1 million business, you haven't got here by doing things badly. You're good at what you do, your clients get results, and a lot of your growth so far has come from reputation, word of mouth, and relationships you've built over the years. That's not a weakness, it's actual proof the fundamentals are there. The problem is that referrals and reputation on a system, they're not predictable, they're not scalable, and at some point they stop being enough to take you to the next level. What most businesses at your stage are missing isn't more marketing, it's a strategy that ties everything together in a clear set of routes to market that don't rely on hope. That's exactly what the next 90 days is designed to build. We call it diagnose, build, and scale. Phase 1 is diagnose, covering weeks 1 and 2, where we audit everything, identify what's actually broken, and build a proper strategic foundation. Phase 2 is the build, covering weeks 3 to 8, where we implement the core systems such as the website, the content engine, and a full mix of channels and routes to market. Phase 3 is scale, covering weeks 9 to 12, where the paid channels go live, we amplify what's working, and put in place a growth system that runs consistently. Be aware, inexperienced marketers will skip straight to phase 3 and sell you ads without looking at the foundations, and that's where the real problem is. So let me walk you through it exactly what happens at each stage. The first 2 weeks are about getting a clear, honest picture of where things actually stand. Most business owners, when they go through this properly for the first time, find it both confronting and clarifying. It's confronting because some of what you find won't be pretty, and clarifying because you'll finally know exactly what to fix instead of guessing. So days 1 to 3, we start with your website performance. We look at load speed, mobile experience, conversion paths, and whether your analytics are actually capturing the data you need to make decisions. Days 4 and 5, we look at traffic and conversion. Where is your traffic actually coming from? Where are people dropping off? And most importantly, what's genuinely converting and what's just generating activity with no commercial outcome. Days 6 and 7, we look at your market position. What are your competitors doing? What are the gaps they're not filling? And how clearly are you communicating why a client should choose you over anyone else? We started working with a construction software company last year. Their turnover is about 1.2 million. It's a well-run business with a good product. They were convinced their problem was that they weren't getting enough traffic, but our audit told a different story. They had approximately 12,000 monthly visitors to their website. They had an 89% bounce rate and an average session of about 23 seconds. No clear call to action above the fold. The mobile experience was essentially broken. They didn't have a traffic problem, they had a conversion problem. They were generating plenty of interest, but had no system to capture it. We fixed the website structure and the conversion paths. Within 6 weeks, the bounce rate had dropped from 89% down to 51%, and the conversion rate went from 0.9 to 3.4%. That's the same traffic, but 3 times more leads. The business hadn't changed, the system around it had. So week 2 is where the real thinking happens. It's usually the weeks clients tell us was the most valuable out of the whole 90 days. Not because we give them the answers, it's because for the first time they have the framework that makes the answers obvious. We develop 4 things together: your unique market position, your genuine provable differentiator, and that's not a claim or a strap line. That's got to be something specific that a competitor can't simply copy. Most businesses have this but never clearly articulate it enough to actually see it. We look at your ideal customer profile, and I mean we get precise. It's not going to be some generic SMEs in the UK. We need to know the exact sectors, company sizes and decision maker roles, the specific pain points, budget parameters and triggers that make someone ready to buy right now. We look at your core message architecture, so the single most important thing you want to be known for, the proof that makes this all credible, and the proposition that converts a prospect into a conversion. So by the end of week 2, every future decision has a framework to be measured against, and nothing happens in phase 2 until this is locked in. Avoid the mistake of just spending money in different directions and calling it a strategy. So with the strategy set, phase 2 is about building the infrastructure that delivers it. That's the website, the content, channels, and the routes to market. I'll walk you through it now. So weeks 3 and 4 are technical, and if I'm honest, they are the most exciting part about this process, but the part that determines whether everything else works or doesn't. Week 3 is the technical foundation. Page speed, targeting it under 2 seconds, mobile first design, core web vitals, and getting the conversion tracking properly configured through GA4. Without clean data, you can't make good decisions about anything that follows. You won't know which channels are actually generating leads, which content is converting, or whether your paid ads are working or just burning money. Here's something you'll love. The numbers on the page speed are worth understanding. Every 1 second improvement can increase conversions by 7%. And here's the math on what that really means. Let's say your website is currently responsible for around about 20% of your total revenue. So for a £1 million business, that's about £200,000 a year being influenced by your site. So a 7% improvement in conversion rate from a speed fix means 7% more of that £200,000 turning it into customers. So that's about £14,000 in additional annual revenue from improving load time by a single second. And a good developer can often make that fix in a day. Week 4 is where the technical work starts and becomes visible. We redesign for conversion, not a rebrand, just the changes that actually matter commercially. And that means a value proposition your ideal clients recognizes immediately when they land on the page. Trust indicators that carry genuine weight like client results and case studies. Navigation that follows how a buyer thinks rather than how your business happens to be structured. And something worth coming back for before they're ready to have a conversation with you. By week 5, your website will be fast, it'll convert, and you can trust the data it's producing. Now we give people a reason to find it. So weeks 5 and 6 are about building your content engine, the system that brings qualified traffic to a newly optimized website consistently without you having to manually generate it every week. This is where a lot of businesses get content wrong. They confuse volume with effectiveness. 61% of UK marketers are now increasing content output in 2026, but the ones generating real returns aren't publishing more, they're publishing with precision. Every piece of content should have a commercial purpose. Ranking for a search term a genuine buyer is using, answering a question that moves a prospect closer to a decision, or positioning you as the obvious choice in your sector. We develop 8 to 12 targeted content pieces across these 2 weeks. Optimize service pages so you rank when prospects search for what you actually sell. Educational content targeting high intent keywords. And buyer guides that do the positioning work for you before a prospect has even spoken to you. Everything is built for traditional SEO and GEO, that's generative engine optimization, which means structuring content so it appears in AI generated answers, Google's AI overviews and Perplexity. According to the latest figures, AI overviews now appear in around 1 in 8 UK searches. That's a figure that's doubled in a single year, and in B2B sectors, they're showing up in 70% of relevant searches. The businesses that figure this out early will have a significant advantage over the ones that don't. On the subject of video, 46% of UK marketers are increasing short form video output. Your audience expects it now, not a nice to have extra, but as a baseline. If you're not producing it, someone in your space who is will get the attention you should be getting. Now is a section most marketing plans don't include. It's usually where the biggest commercial opportunity is sitting. When most agencies talk about routes to market, they mean channels, Google, LinkedIn, and emails. Channels are just pipes. Routes to market is a different question. How do the right clients actually find their way to you? And the honest answer varies significantly from one business to the next. There is no universal answer here. The right route for a professional service business in London is a different route to a specialist manufacturer in the Midlands. Part of what we do in weeks 7 and 8 is identify which routes are most likely to work for your specific business, your marketing, your existing relations, and where your ideal clients actually spend their time. To give you a sense of the kind of thinking involved, let me walk you through 3 routes we see businesses at your stage consistently underusing. These aren't the right answers for everyone, but they illustrate the type of opportunity most businesses are walking past. Most service businesses get referrals, almost none of them have a system for it. The referrals arrive in spite of the business, not because of it. A proper program changes that. You know exactly who your referrers are, you give them the right language, and you make it easy to introduce you, and you follow up properly. That changes the picture entirely. For the right business, this is often the fastest route to additional revenue in the entire 90-day plan. The second is direct outreach to a warm network. Every business owner at your stage has a network of people who already know them, already respect what they do, and have never been properly approached. Former clients, former colleagues, people you've met at events who've always said, "Oh, we should work together," but never did. For the right business, this generates more pipeline faster than any paid channel, particularly in the early months when the broader infrastructure is still being built. The third is strategic partnerships with non-competing businesses that are already talking to your ideal clients every day. This could be accountants, solicitors, consultants, software providers. A well-structured partnership, and the key word here is structured, can be worth more than a year's worth of paid advertising. The casual "we'll refer each other" conversation rarely produces anything. The ones that actually work here have a clear criteria, a defined process, and someone accountable on both sides. Again, these are examples of thinking, not a prescription. What we're actually doing at this phase is identifying which combination of routes make the most sense for your business specifically and building the infrastructure to activate them properly. Running alongside the routes to market work, weeks 7 and 8 also cover the digital channel infrastructure your business needs to support everything else. Like the Google business profile, we can make sure it's fully optimized with services, keywords, and review generation system that doesn't rely on you remembering to ask. LinkedIn with a company page that actually reflects the quality of work you do, pages that showcase your services, and a content schedule mapped to where your ideal clients are in their decision making. Email marketing with segmented lists, automated welcome sequences, and a nurture campaign for prospects who aren't ready to buy yet, but will. And social media, not every platform, but the ones where your specific clients actually spend time. You'll notice paid advertising still isn't on the list, and that comes in phase 3, and the sequencing is deliberate. The businesses that struggle with paid ads almost always have the same problem. They turned them on too early. They sent paid traffic to a website that didn't convert, promoted content that didn't exist, retargeted visitors who had a poor experience, and then conclude that ads don't work for their business. The ads aren't the problem. The foundation was. Before a single pound goes into paid advertising, you need 5 things in place: a website that converts, content that educates, a system to nurture leads who aren't ready yet, your cost per acquisition, what is a client worth and what does it cost to get one, and tracking that tells you what's actually working. Once those 5 things are in place, paid advertising stops being a gamble and it becomes a multiplier. You're sending paid traffic to a system that already is proven to convert. By week 9, the foundation is solid, your website converts, you have content, your channels are active, your routes to market are running. Now we scale. UK businesses are increasing ad spend in 2026, but not because paid ads have become more effective. It's because organic visibility has become significantly harder to guarantee. 48% of businesses are increasing Google Ads budgets, 40% are spending more on Instagram and Facebook, and 31% are ramping up LinkedIn advertising. Google's AI overviews now appear in 1 in 8 of UK searches, and research from Seer Interactive shows that where an AI overview appears, organic click-through rates have dropped by 61%. When organic rankings can no longer guarantee visibility, paid search becomes your most reliable channel for capturing high-intent searches, but only if the foundation is there to convert them, which by week 9, it is. On Google Ads, we start with controlled daily budgets targeting high-intent keywords. We have multiple ad variations from day 1, dedicated landing pages per campaign, and daily optimization through the first 2 weeks to identify what's working before we scale the spend. On Meta and LinkedIn, we create targeted campaigns based on your ideal customer profile, lead generations with valuable offers, and retargeting sequences for website visitors, and a lookalike audience built from your best existing clients. So the final 2 weeks are about following the data. Which channels are performing best, which content is driving conversions, and which ads have the lowest cost per acquisition. Where are the bottlenecks that are actually stopping prospects from becoming clients? We make decisions about where to invest more and where to stop. More budget into the best performing campaigns, more content into the formats that are delivering, and expand campaigns to similar audiences, and the systems put in place to make this repeatable beyond those 90 days. By the end of week 12, here's what you'll have: a website that converts, content that ranks for both SEO and AI search, active optimized paid campaigns with no unit economics, email nurture sequences working automatically, the right routes to market running consistently, and a clear picture of exactly what to do next because you have the data to tell you. So that's not a marketing department, that's a growth system, and it runs whether you're paying attention to it or not. And I want to be straight with you about this and what it actually involves, because most people who sell marketing plans don't talk about this part. Firstly, can you do all this in 90 days? Well, yes, we've done it many times, but it will require to make some decisions that feel uncomfortable in the short term. You'll almost certainly need to stop doing things you're currently doing. The channel you've been posting on for the past 2 years with no measurable return, you need to cut it. The agency retainer running on autopilot, you need to review or cancel it. The ads that have been ticking over for the past 2 years, pause until the foundation is solid. That kind of rationalization is uncomfortable when you've made a commitment to something, but you cannot build a new system while propping up an old one. The second thing people underestimate is the time it requires on their side. This isn't a hand it over and forget arrangement. The businesses that get the best results treat this like a product launch. They give it senior attention, fast decisions, and content approved on time rather than the last minute. If you treat this like a background project, you'll get background results. Think about what you're already spending. You're paying for traffic that bounces, running ads to a website that doesn't convert, and producing content that nobody sees. So this isn't additional investment. It's redirecting money that's already leaving your business into a system that produces a return. For a £1 million business trying to reach 2 million or 3 or 5 million, 90 days of focused strategic work isn't the risk. Carrying on as you are is. Most of our clients see measurable movement within 90 days. You can see it in the data first. The traffic quality improves, the bounce rates fall, time increases on the site, then the leads start coming in through channels you've actually built rather than the ones that you just stumble into. Then your cost per lead starts falling and the system becomes more efficient. The ones who don't see results, and it does happen, are almost always the ones who started phase 3 before phase 1 was finished, who approved content at the last minute, or who pulled budget after just 3 weeks because it wasn't working yet. Marketing compounds. It takes a little longer than most people want it to, but 90 days is genuinely enough to change the trajectory of the business if the framework is followed. You will need help doing this the right way, and that's exactly what we do here at High Performance. And if you want us to go deeper on any specific phase, let us know in the comments below and we'll make a future video about it. I'll see you in the next one.